Welcome to Season 4, Episode 1 of Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. I am Kurtis Cross, your host, and I'm joined, as always, by Coach Casey O'Neill and, of course, our engineers, DJ Krissy. Coach Turner is in the throes of a heck of a WCAC season. We're hoping he will join us in progress. We thank you for listening and watching. Our premier partner for Season 4 is Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Check out Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Ray's team has been a consistent partner with the TNO team. He's a friend of the program, and I personally have done business with him refinancing this very space where we record each week. Ray Cruz is Mortgage Intelligently. We'd like to thank our partners. They're always with us from Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4. Thank you to all of our partners, our donors, our sponsors, and of course, our friends of the program. If you would like to become a partner, sponsor, donor, or friend of the program, simply go to turnerando'Neill.com and click Media Kit. We are now in Season 4. Coach O'Neill, Coach Krissy, well, not Coach Krissy, DJ Krissy. We are in Season 4. Thank you for Seasons 1, 2, and 3. But Coach Casey O'Neill, tell me, how's it going? I know you're waiting for the weather to break. You want to get your Mabry Academy students and the whole crew involved. But I made a joke with you before we started recording. Once that thermometer hits 50 or more, you're like licking your chops, aren't you, to get outside?
No, look, in the last week, it needed to hit 30 or more, and I was licking my chops.
That was your benchmark?
Yeah, I walked outside, took the dog for a walk. It was 30 degrees. I'm like, it feels like I'm in southern Florida or something. I mean, it felt amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I can't wait for better weather. I think that goes with a lot of people in the DMV, a lot of people around this country. I mean, if you look at the temperatures, whether it's in the Midwest, even in the South, I mean, Cole down there in South Carolina, about a week ago, they had 5-6 inches of snow on the ground down there in South Carolina. So and New England's getting hammered with I mean, look, everybody's ready for this. I don't know what it is, though. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I don't know. If we're going to get one, like, give us the big one, right? And then if we're going to get it, let's get the big one. And we've had, we had a 6-inch, we've had this and that, and then let's call it a day. We've been going inside. Look, these kids are tough. They want to get out for a little bit. We'll monitor it. We'll get on a field. We'll do what we need to do. We're training indoors, outside, whatever it takes. And it gives us more time to break down some film with the boys, go over their nutrition. This is how we develop those good routines, the hydration, the sleep we can get, okay? So all good. But for me, look, the last week has been is monitoring the cold, making sure everybody's good. And, and you mentioned Coach Krissy. She is our coach when we're recording.
She is. So we can give her that title.
She's coaching up there, right? Making sure everything's smooth. So all good.
You know what? We're not talking about the elephant in the room. Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow. So that means 6 more weeks of winter. We should like ban Punxsutawney Phil from being a part of anything we do in this society. But DJ Krissy, talk to us. How's it going? Coach DJ Krissy.
I'm kind of upset because you stole my thunder on that.
Uh-oh. Well, Punxsutawney Phil?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well, talk about it, Krissy.
Totally stole my thunder. Come on. 6 more weeks of winter. What?
She's okay
More
with that.
snow?
She's okay with that, apparently.
I mean, we had snow. We had no snow. They said this is the big one. And we got that much snow.
Right.
They got mobile hay down at the beaches in Delaware, Ocean City.
They got hit good, but
a foot of snow.
Well, DJ Krissy, look, you've been putting up with us for 3 full seasons, so we welcome you as our coach and engineer for Season 4. We thank you for that. Full disclosure, everyone, we are recording this a couple of weeks in advance, so that's why on this day we're talking about Punxsutawney Phil instead of when this does air, and you'll be like, what? That was like weeks ago. But we're starting Season 4 now because we're going to take a couple of weeks off, and we're going to hammer you like they got hammered in New England with more episodes for Season 4. I'm excited to join this crew for another season. I thank our partners, sponsors, donors, and friends of the program. I look forward to being part of the TNO team for Season 4. I'm also excited for this week's guest, so let's get to our first break, and we'll be back with this week's headline. Welcome back to Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill. Today's episode is brought to you by Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. This week's headline, again, full disclosure, we're recording on February 2nd, so today is a pretty big day in the Washington, D.C. area. The Boston Braves, Boston Redskins, the Washington football team is now the Washington Commanders. Coach Casey O'Neill, have at it.
Okay. Just like everything else in social media world, we are so quick to judge. We are so quick to dismiss. We're so quick to be negative about this. And it's okay. It's not like the Washington organization hasn't done things for 20 years the wrong way for us and others to feel the way we do. But I'm going to put a spin on it. I kind of like Commanders. Okay. I was having a text chain with Cole last night going over. Obviously, there was
you had the inside track, apparently.
Right, we all did, right? The News Chopper 4 is like over FedEx Field and zooms in, and it speaks to a lot of what our society is in, right? We want to get the word out. We want to be a little bit sort of hesitant or negative about it, but look, let's just embrace it. It is what it is. You're either a fan like you and I are from day one until we die. It just is what it is. I'm so proud that my son Cole, who could have gone in a different direction, right? He could have gone up to the Ravens. He could have been like, I'm going to go with this team or follow this player. He stuck with it. It is what it is. Let's embrace it. And Kurtis and Krissy, winning solves everything. Everybody says that. They start winning games. They get a quarterback. Just go with it. You're either a fan or you're not. All right. The negativity is enough. And you know what? Some of the uniforms look kind of cool, but make no mistake, it is such a mess and dysfunction with the leadership. But at least they're doing things with the general manager they have, the coach they have, right? Some of the people and changing the things behind the scenes with some of the toxic sort of work habits they've had in that place. They're trying, and not many people do that. Not many people just try. 20 years later or not, at least they're trying.
All right, so how about this? Do the Al Davis thing. Just win, baby, right?
Just win.
All right, so here's my take on the Washington Commanders. It's going to be hard for me to get away from the name Washington Redskins. I have not embraced Washington football team. But here's what I know. Dan Snyder is the owner of the team. He did not ask for your opinion or my opinion. So when you named, you and Erica named Cole, or you and Erica named Chloe, no one had a say-so in that. This is his team. This is his baby. We can do what we want. Unless we have a financial stake in what happens in Ashburn or Landover or wherever that team moves to, which my vote would be back to D.C., the man can do what he wants. And he sought opinions. He did, actually. And they came up with a campaign. It's Commanders. Now, we can pout about it and mope about it and let it ruin our day or our season, or either way, whether you're watching or not, you can watch with an attitude or you can watch. They're the Washington Commanders now. The only issue I will say I have is hail to the commander. It just doesn't ring. It just doesn't ring, right? It's too many syllables. But if they win, if Chase Young becomes the general of the Commanders, if we can do some things on the field that give us the pride like we had at RFK, when that stadium was rocking, when we had Theismann, we had Rippon, we had the Hogs, we had Slobberknocker football, we had Doug Williams, all of this goes away. They're the Commanders. They're our team. And Casey, you'll be on my deck watching a game outside in the fall with some barbecue. So either way, we're gonna be Commanders fans. I think that's what we're gonna do. Can we agree to that, Casey?
We can agree to that. We can absolutely agree to that. Look, winning solves everything. Coach O'Neill's gonna get a new hat with the W, whether you like it or not. And
right.
I'm just going to keep going down and supporting my team. However, the big difference is I'm not going to let it affect. Right. I'm not going to let it affect if they lose my Sunday. Right. It's just a team I root for. So let's all the haters just stop hating. Right. Let's change our society. Let's be more positive and just move on, baby. Move forward.
All right. I can give that. Krissy, do you have any thoughts on the Washington Commanders?
I mean, it just sounds weird because it's new.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad name.
Right.
I'm going to say more excited when there was some animal involved when they were originally talking
Speaking
about
of an animal, hold on.
What you got there?
Oh, look down at my screen. Look, now, speaking of people who don't care about the team and love, is this 100-pound 1-year-old. Now she's getting shy. She doesn't care. She looks like a wolf. Doesn't care.
Okay.
No,
I will.
It doesn't matter.
I will read this, by the way. I did get this from someone weeks ago, and I failed to mention this. It says, you can blame the Minnesota Timberwolves for Washington not getting the Wolves name. The NBA team did not want a bigger NFL team having Wolves. It has all the variations trademark. They knew this 6 months ago. So that might give some insight as to why we don't have the Washington Red Wolves. The Commanders are here to stay. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your one headline. The starting five. Welcome back to Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill. The starting five is brought to you by Dynamic DJ Entertainment. I am your host, Kurtis Cross, and I'm with Coach Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill, our engineer and coach for season 4. And every episode is DJ Krissy. We are up to our weekly starting five questions I'll ask of each coach, and they have 30 seconds to answer these questions. They can only defer one question, and if they go over their 30 seconds, DJ Krissy, what will happen? So that's the way she wants to start season 4. I get it. All right. Coach Turner, before we do our starting five, though, I do have a question for you. Unfortunately, you are in the throes of doing a bunch of stuff, but tell me, Washington Commanders, how you feeling? Oh, Steve, come on, man.
I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to wait to see what the gear looks like, but at this point, we should have just left it as the Washington football team.
Not a fan, huh?
Not a fan. Not yet. We'll see what they come up with, but not yet.
If they win, they can help you out there?
They can win whatever they want and call themselves whatever they want. I'm fine. But I don't know. Just it was hard enough to leave being the Redskins. I got comfortable with the Washington football team.
Okay.
I'm not a fan yet.
All right. Well,
still a fan of the team. I'm just not a fan of the name.
We know your time is limited. We're going to get in and out of this starting five because you make this starting five what it is. Between you, Casey, and me, we got to have you as a part of it. So we'll start with Coach Steve Turner. Would you be better at The Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, or American Idol?
I'm going with the Wheel of Fortune.
All right. Coach O'Neill.
Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune. Is it just those two? Was there another one?
American Idol.
Definitely not American Idol. At least when the singing part starts, then it's like, okay, you get the X like you do in America's Got Talent quickly.
Right.
I'll go with the wheel.
You're going to go with the wheel. Yeah. All right. Coach O'Neill, coming back to you. Dive right into the pool, or do you have to warm up before you get into it? Like, are you going to cannonball into this thing, or you just need to see what the temperature is first?
Rip the Band-Aid, baby. Just dive in. Got to go.
Coach Turner,
rip the Band-Aid.
All right. Coach Turner, cannonball, or you got to warm up to it?
Oh, man. Dive right in. Give me the cannonball. Get fully immersed, and let's go.
Steve, but I'm a can opener guy. I'm the one.
Oh, you're the one leg joint.
Yeah. I can get a good.
I get a good one like that too, and I splash everybody on the side.
Right.
Man,
I had the kids rate it. Little kids standing around, I'm like, all right, give me thumbs up. Just try to come up in the water, make sure they give me a thumbs up.
The key is the way your back falls, so you get that whiplash of water.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right, Coach Turner, back to you. Most people consider this no big deal, but for me, it's torture. What's the one thing people don't consider a big deal, and you're like way over the top about it?
I don't deal with it anymore, but I remember in grade school, fingernails on the blackboard.
Oh.
Did not like that. Did not like that.
Coach O'Neill.
Steve, I was thinking that was a great answer. I was thinking of that, but then all of a sudden you said that, and my counter to that is in most cars on the roof, it's like a weird material that are on a lot of the older cars, like old station wagons. And to scratch your hands on that, oh my gosh, man, that gave me the willies. I mean, like thinking about it, I'm like shivering. It's nasty. I don't know what it is.
Okay, coming back to you, Coach O'Neill. Least favorite part of working from home during the pandemic?
Oh man, I'd say the least favorite part is man, it's just telling you that I enjoyed being around. Like I was with my kids all day long, and it's something you just didn't get to do. I'd say the least part is going out and getting like groceries and things during the pandemic. Like you're freaking out so much and just like putting the glove, just when we were all just in that heightened sense of just nerves. I would say that just leave it.
Okay. Coach Turner, your least favorite part of working from home during the pandemic. And I know what it wasn't. It wasn't having the mother-in-law cook, because you love that part. Mom-in-law can throw down.
I was cooking too during that time, but just not being able to have interaction with people like that you have on a day-to-day basis.
It was coaching, the kids, just not seeing the kids every day.
Yeah.
The players.
All right. Coming back to Coach Turner, what is the coolest thing about your job?
Just watching young men grow, having the ability to be a part of helping to impact their lives.
Coach O'Neill.
So in this new venture, I mean, the coolest part for me is being able to take the girls to school, and then most days, be there to pick them up. But it's working with someone like Coach Mabry, who you guys met, and is a new friend and having a vision to make a massive positive impact on youth athletics and helping kids achieve their greatness.
All right, Coach Casey, rapid fire for you. Name the coach you came to respect or befriend through your lacrosse coaching experience.
Ooh, baby. I'd say there's a bunch. There's a lot of college coaches, but I'm thinking here kind of locally. And there's 3 names that come to mind. There's actually 4 names. There's Coach Giblin from Georgetown Prep and Coach Bordley from Landon. But up in Baltimore, one of our guests was Brian Kelly, who was an awesome guest. Getting to know him, and Andy Hillgardner up at McDonough School.
All right, time or money? Which one is more important, time or money?
Oh man, I'd say time.
Travel abroad or right here in the U.S.?
At this stage in my life with the kids, I like the U.S.
Your dream concert or dream sporting event, whatever that may be, which one would you prefer if you only got to pick one?
Whoa. I think it would be really cool. We got the Winter Olympics coming up to be at one of the Olympics, and just the scene around Olympic Village and all those different nationalities, which kind of counters what I just said about traveling in the U.S.
Right. Would you be a better 007 or Terminator?
007.
Steve, your turn. Have you ever been kicked out of anywhere?
Oh, hell yeah.
A basketball game.
And not a game. Let's not say a basketball game. Anywhere, you and your boys hanging out, and y'all made a little bit too much noise at that nightclub on the beach, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you care to elaborate?
I've been kicked out of clubs. I've been kicked out of games.
Man.
I hate telling. I can't tell.
Okay, no, we can leave it there.
Got into a little scuffle, kicked out of the club.
Oh, okay. All right, Steve, throwing down up in the club.
Back in the day in college.
Throwing bows up in the club.
Of course, I've been kicked out of games. Probably the worst was one of Jared's middle school games over at Northwood, and this referee was making a funk about the kids' shorts having pockets.
Oh.
And I just went off, and he proceeded to kick me out of the gym.
All right. Best thing about being a basketball coach, and I guess it kind of aligns with what you said, the coolest thing about your job, but best thing about being a basketball coach, other than impacting the gentlemen that you coach on I Street?
Currently, coaching my son.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Tell us a time where you messed up in the kitchen.
I don't mess up in the kitchen.
Okay, my bad. All right, if there's nothing.
I can answer that.
There's been a time where you start watching TV or doing something and leave something in the oven for too long.
Yep.
It happened a couple times.
Casey, I'm gonna let you chime in. When'd you mess up?
Well, when don't I mess up in there? That's why I'm lucky and blessed. But one time I tried to cook this codfish for some friends that had come over, and they took the first bite and they're like, "Wow, this is decent." And then it sunk in, and they were like, they could not even hide it. Like, I blew it. I tried. It was a mess. And to this day, these 2 guys are just like, Codfish, Coach Codfish.
The last time was I like to bake wings,
okay,
and then let them get a little under the broiler, and I left them too long.
Like when we are in our kitchen and anything we have to do for the broiler, I tell Paula, I tell the kids, when you turn the broiler on, stay right there and watch it. Because 90 seconds when it's supposed to be 60, that's an eternity.
Yep.
That is an eternity. Apparently, they're looking for someone if y'all can hear the helicopters overhead. Goodness gracious. All right, Coach Turner, in the winter, where do you set the thermostat?
I don't really set the thermostat in the house. So
Where would you want it? Krissy is okay with it being on 64. I'm not.
oh,
Right?
It's cold.
give me, 72 to 74.
Ooh.
I'm a 68 guy. Years ago, I used to be 72 or 70. I'm a 68 guy.
You're probably right. More than 68, because I'd rather be cold and bundle up in the quilt blanket. So yeah, you're probably right, about 68.
All right. Last question. You've got to phone a friend. Who do you call? Let's say you're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Who are you phoning?
One of the smartest guys I grew up with, and I went to school with him from kindergarten through high school. Jeff Hawk.
Oh, yes. We know Hawk. And a smart basketball player too, right?
A hell of a basketball player. At our level and our age, he was my Larry Bird. The dude could hoop. He was special. Matter of fact, people don't even know this about him. When he got to Maryland, he decided not to play going into college and decided to go to Maryland and go to school. But he played intramurals. And him and a couple other friends of ours from around the way, they kicked all the athletes' butts. They beat the football team. They won the championship. Gary offered him an opportunity to walk on, but he chose not to.
Wow. How about that? Jeff Hawk. He is who you are going to phone as a friend when you're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting five. The starting five. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest serves as the co-founder and chief executive officer of POWERHANDZ, Inc., a global designer, manufacturer, and distributor of innovative athletic training products. POWERHANDZ has its partners as the Golf Channel, Forbes Magazine, Yahoo Sports, Sports Illustrated, ESPN, the NBA Channel, as well as the NBA's LaMelo Ball. Danyel Surrency-Jones has built a global brand, and she is here to talk POWERHANDZ and more. Please welcome co-founder and CEO of POWERHANDZ, Danyel Surrency-Jones.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Kurt.
Danielle, thanks for joining us today and taking the CEO. How's it going, young lady?
It's going amazing. It's 150 miles per hour, amazing. But you know what? We're taking all the bumps and the curves, and everything's turning out great. And how are you?
We are fine. I want to introduce you to my co-hosts. We have DJ Krissy. We have Coach Casey O'Neill, and they are here to learn more about what POWERHANDZ does and how you have shaken up an industry that has been male-dominated, has been dominated by faces that look like Casey and not yours and mine. But we're going to talk a little bit about that today.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you.
All right, between schedules and life, we've been able to work out this time to get together with you. Of course, my good friend Jason, when he met you, he told me almost immediately that we've got to get you on the show. I did not do justice. I did my best to introduce you. I didn't do justice. I'd like to yield the floor to you by reading this statement, and I want your response.
Okay.
POWERHANDZ is a global athletic and rehabilitation tech product company that enhances human performance through the design of innovative technology. Our mission is to improve outcomes for athletes, coaches, fitness enthusiasts, and rehab patients around the world. Please expand on that.
Yeah, Kurt, that just gave me chills hearing you read that, right? Because at the end of the day, we started POWERHANDZ to impact communities based on skill development, overall human performance, and then to understand that our human performance helps prevent injury and plays a role in the prehab is huge for us. So over the course of the last 6 years, we have started with one patent in the basketball space, our anti-grip weighted gloves, and that has scaled to creating other patented innovation as well as patent pending innovation across multiple sports. And yes, we've been able to sell in over 87 countries. I often tell people that when we started this journey, we had no idea that we would be scaling into multiple sports verticals and fitness and impacting 87 communities. So for me, that gives me chills to know that from a validation perspective, that we can go in every region of the globe, and we can shift health and wellness statistics and impact skill development from a kid that's trying to make the team all the way to an elderly person who may be experiencing a upper extremity issue with their hand and arm that they want to improve upon. So that's pretty impactful.
You know, before I let Casey jump in with his question, there are a couple of things I've seen on your website that intrigued me. So this is more than dollars and cents for you. This is about impacting the community and doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Casey, I'm sorry, because he often says this question. It just popped into my head, but I got to steal it because I'm going to go with it right now. Some of those core values that you go with. Tell me what drives you there, because this is more than just selling products for you.
Oh my gosh, Kurt, you just said it. And I guess this is off of what Casey's values are: integrity, right? Doing the right thing when no one else is watching. To be an entrepreneur, you have to have that passion living inside your soul, because the tough days when you want to quit and you may want to take shortcuts, or you may want to partner with someone or something that is not aligned with your values simply to move forward, you need that integrity to stay close to your vision and mission, to remember why you started. So that's number one, integrity. Definitely accountability. We are a team where we hold ourselves accountable internally and we hold ourselves accountable externally. I mean, I am so, and I will never want to get to the point where we are too big, where I don't hear the customer's voice and I don't hear the customer's heart, and I'm not designing for our customer to make sure that we meet them where they are. So we hold ourselves accountable. And again, we want to be accountable to our customer. Definitely results. I mean, at the end of the day, let's get it done, right? I mean, I am very thankful, and it's a blessing and a curse. From a unicorn perspective, I can think from 100,000 square foot level all the way down to rolling up my sleeves and execute. And at the end of the day, you can have an idea, but if you're not pushing it forward from an execution standpoint, it's in vain, right? So those, I would definitely say, are big core values for us. And one is faith. We have been unapologetic about, and we made this decision about 3 years ago when we revamped our website, because we talked about our faith and that being the center of who we are in our meetings, in our huddles, but we never put it on our website. And one day, I love, Stacy spoke up, who you've been corresponding with. Yes. And she said, Danielle, that's who you are. So why would that not be a part of our values? And why would we not tell everyone in the world that that's the center of who we are? And we did. So faith is very much so a value.
And she's not just saying that, folks. Go to her website, and when you talk about the core values, you talk about what drives them. Faith is right there in plain sight on the website. Coach O'Neill, I'm stealing too much of your thunder, so please jump in.
Am I going to get to talk? Listen, all my questions. And Danielle, how are you? Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. I'm just mad that your hat looks so dope and mine's crooked right now.
This is my Washington Nationals. Kurtis is a big New York Met fan, but I'm a DC guy, born and raised, and from the DMV. Anyway, speaking of faith, my quote later is from Luke chapter 6, but there's a lot of different faith-based ways to build a business. So you did kind of touch on some of the things that I wanted to ask you. And, look, from your product, I was a longtime assistant athletic director. I was a head lacrosse coach. And speaking of gloves and the POWERHANDZ, works for the goalies, works for the attack, the middies, the D. So there's a way to continue to expand into that lacrosse community, which is the fastest growing sport.
Well, Casey, I need your help, because when I tell you that the first lacrosse community that was brought to our attention, they're the largest girls lacrosse community. They bought about 7 pop-up defenders, and they started off with maybe 6 power fit gloves, right? And when I really started looking at that community, the stats that you just gave are huge. I absolutely want to expand for girls and for boys.
Love it. I love it. It is the fastest growing team sport in the U.S. Look, we even got somebody like Kurtis Kurtis was not a lacrosse fan, and now we're covering, and we got PLL players on here, and we're breaking down games.
This is true.
So from a business standpoint, and talk to me about this idea for young entrepreneurs. And my next question is going to be about with young ladies, because I'm the father of 2 young ladies. But from a business standpoint, Tell the people as you build it about that MVP, the mission, the vision, the principles. I know you just mentioned that, but how fun it was to sit in there and to create that, which goes on your website, and then to be okay with knowing that there was going to be some tough times. Does this question make sense to you? I mean, like, talk to us through that first initial, this is what we are doing.
Yeah. So everyone has a story, right? And our story is very authentic. When we started, we had just got married, just spent our money building our first home. We were pregnant and ready to have a child 6 months later. And then this idea organically came from the first concept from my co-founder, who has played professional basketball, several knee surgeries. Boom. I want to, at 40 years old, I want to be able to play with my kids. So let me get into the medical device field, kinesiology degree, and go coach. Darren Williams, who's also an investor within POWERHANDZ, he's a friend. He was working with his team. And, from an ideation perspective, the concept of gardening gloves and ankle weights gave birth to our patented anti-grip weighted gloves in the kitchen, right? When I was out on maternity leave. And I was an executive within Medtronic making very good money. And I had to make a decision at that time, right? Are we what does it look like to crawl, and what does it look like for me to jump? And my message to entrepreneurs, when you have an idea, you have to make a decision, but don't let society push you into that decision. Make a decision based on what is right for your household, what is right for your business. And I want you to totally do a 360 and understand how to grow your business, what resources, what funding you need, what are your omni channels, etc., before you jump, right? So that's my first message. We jumped, but it was a calculated jump, but we could have never, which is my second message. You mentioned about the bumps and bruises and how hard it's been. I was in corporate America for almost 2 decades. You could have never imagined what I have experienced the last 7 years regarding the strength, the resilience, and how hard it is to build something from an idea to execution to scaling to sustaining to scaling, and then looking, here are my strategic partners, right, for the next whatever that's supposed to be, right? That is very difficult. You have to have, going back to your statement of, your mind has to be so connected to your vision and your mission and your values every step of the way, because that's what wakes you up in the morning on the days that you don't want to get up. That's what makes you design, right? When you look at your budget and say, wow, I don't have the budget from an R&D perspective to push forward with this idea.
Right.
So that vision, mission, and values has to be so embedded in your heart, because that's what gets you through to your next. Does that answer your question?
And then some. No, I'm fired up. If you're hiring, no, I'm teasing, but I'm not.
You're going to help me with the cross, Casey.
There we go. Well, I asked those questions I went from 21 years of being a coach, just a little background, to starting an organization that works with youth athletes through essentially mental athletic performance and mental health. Let's just get down to it, but giving them the tools to be able to handle adversity on the field and off the field, a wellness in their lives of, thinking, moving, fueling, recovery, connection. So I asked the question from a standpoint of young entrepreneurs, but also somebody who's going through it now in my mid 40s of building it. So it's right on par. Thank you.
Danielle, it is not lost on us that a woman CEO and a Black woman, you find yourself in a space where opportunities for women and minority women are not as plentiful as the faces in the market that your product represents. How did Danyel Surrency-Jones make her place in this field where a plethora of examples were not in front of you?
Yeah, thank you, Kurt. It definitely was moving past imposter syndrome to moving to who Danielle is authentically. And then I discovered my power, right? Because through corporate America, I would say that I was living outside of who Danielle is, right? And truly not leading from within. I was afraid. I didn't understand my voice. I didn't understand how my quirks were my strength. I didn't understand how my womanhood and my leadership within my womanhood was my strength until I started building my own. And I had no choice because I didn't have other things around me like you have in corporate America to mask that journey, right? When you are building and it starts and ends with you as an entrepreneur, either you show who you are and you become transparent in that journey and people start to see your heart and they believe in you because Casey, we all know, right? Kurt and DJ Krissy, when we're starting something, it's not people, that's air. People don't understand the concept. They don't understand what you're doing. They trust and they invest in you. So I had to be able to, as a woman, as a Black woman, say, this is who I am. And when I walk into the room, I'm going to accept that if I'm walking into the room with a male at this time, that you may look to that male first for the answer and for the vision and for the mission. But as soon as I sit down at that table and I open up my mouth, you will see my brilliance. You will understand how my mind thinks from a strategic standpoint. And I'm okay with that. I call it earned privilege. That's what I'm working for, earned privilege. And I'm okay walking in those scenarios and understanding that we live in a world statistically, right, especially in sports and fitness, and it is male dominated. And it's Casey, amazing Casey, male dominated. But we're leaning in together collectively, right? So if we lean in together collectively and I show you my brilliance, then Casey will want to lean in with me as well as Kurt, as well as DJ Krissy. So I don't hide behind the fact when I wanted to that I'm a Black woman that's a CEO. I'm very proud that we're living in times, and I have to be so thankful for people that have risked their life and that are definitely due to social injustice, et cetera, that really helped me push forward and talk about who I am. And this is a company that is Black owned. But I don't make excuses. I don't make excuses for boundaries. I don't make excuses for access to opportunity. I say that it's not there and there are boundaries, but I'm going to find a way to break through the barriers and make it happen. So I think that's a key part. And the last thing I'll say, because Kurt, I think this is so important based on the question you asked as a woman in this field. I am going to do my part to make sure that I am not only a voice for the women that are within POWERHANDZ, but I'm a voice for women that are in sports, fitness, and all industries. So my job is to make sure that I do a good job representing them at the table, and then I'm going to pull them to the table and inspire them to pull the next person at the table. And that, I think that is what's so important, the emotional intelligence that you get from women in this day and age.
Love it. Oh my goodness. She's inspiring me. Casey, what you got?
So I mentioned before, father of two girls, and I have a son who's in college as well. But kind of tailoring back to the young ladies and my young ladies, but to the young people that listen to this podcast, we do. Coach Turner and I have coached young kids for years. Kurtis has coached, and we have a lot of kids that are listening. So I think there's two parts to this question. Number one is, what are some of so kids are getting ready to go to college. What are some of the classes and things that you're like, you know what, you got to take marketing, or forget marketing. You know what, let's get into business management or this or that. Or does it even matter as these kids kind of map out their future, as they visualize, okay, I want to be a young entrepreneur. I want to be a young, successful, female in this business world. What would you say to those kids about sort of the direction that they should be thinking about taking in terms of studying? Because you said you've been in corporate America a long time. And then again, at the end of this question, I know it's a lot, is just giving a 30 to 45 seconds, like exactly if you were selling to me, to POWERHANDZ, why I should, as a lacrosse player or as a boxer or a basketball player, be going in there and being like, I got to have this right now. There's a lot to it there. I know.
Krissy, you just asked me to unpack 5 suitcases, and I love
Right?
it.
Right?
I can handle it. I'm a woman. All right, you ready?
Of course.
There you go. So here's my answer to your first question.
Yes.
It's called take one-on-one purpose instead of one-on-one management.
Mhm.
One-on-one purpose. Yes. And
Right.
it's just off the top of the dome, right? When I reflect back, I have, my undergrad, I started out in nursing, got my undergrad degree in health service administration, thought I was going to be a CEO of a healthcare facility or build my own Taj Mahal for assisted daily living because I love elderly people. And then I got my MBA in business and marketing. And then I went to Wharton for some additional marketing classes. And boom, I'm in sports and fitness after being in medical device for 20 years, which is still healthcare, right? I encourage all youth, before you even get to high school, before you even get to college, go through a discovery of your purpose, right? Really unpack your gifts that you think are the things that you do naturally without blinking an eye, and connect them to what brings joy to your heart. And I want you to pursue your life journey based on that. Oh my gosh, if I could turn back the hands of time and do it that way, I would have saved so much time in between, and I could have served an impact faster, right? So then when you do that, the second stage is then when you get to college, of course, be very intentional about understanding how what's on your resume impacts your next move, but more importantly, who you meet, networking, right? Who you meet from an alumni perspective, your professors, whatever sorority or fraternity that you're a part of. I cannot tell you how valuable your network is, whether you're in corporate America or you are in an entrepreneur building your own. I mean, Drake said it best, right? Your network is your net worth. Seriously. I mean, that is it. So that's the answer to your first part. Second part, you are so welcome, Casey. Now let's unpack the other suitcase. And so that I should actually reverse it on you and ask you to sell to me from a lacrosse standpoint. Lacrosse is a new market for us. It is a market that I want to venture into. So I would actually like to switch that and ask you from a question perspective. I will tell you, we're sitting down and having a chat. I will say, when you look at the science behind POWERHANDZ, our collection is very simple. We focus on speed. We focus on reaction time. We focus on the kinetic chain. We focus on core strength, right? And that applies, of course, to multiple athletes, multiple verticals, and even the sports enthusiasts. As it relates to the lacrosse industry, you are the expert in that industry. Tell me why our product line, from our weighted gloves, right, to our pop-up defender, to our 10-pound patented weighted suit, why that fits into your space for lacrosse for girls and boys.
I mean, look, you spoke immediately about speed. The first thing you said was speed, right? The sort of unofficial mantra of lacrosse is it's the fastest sport on 2 feet, right? Hockey is the fastest sport on the ice or in the arena, and basketball is the fastest sport, but lacrosse is so fast. And we tell young people, boys and girls, that find something that you are quick at. Not all of us are from the goal line to the 50-yard line or the baseline to the midcourt the fastest, but you got to find something you're good at, right? Whether you're recovering in a slide, whether you're shooting it fast, whether you are going to the hoop, first explosive movement. So there's a lot of explosive movements. You really spoke to me too on the core. Everything we teach these kids is at the core of things, especially when they're young, is not necessarily lifting the heavy weights, but building their core strength, but building their hip flexibility and mobility, their stretching, right? Their plyometrics, everything that goes into it. So it is absolutely, listening to you talk, kind of tied together in that. A lot of the lacrosse is the quick thinking, just like on the basketball court. Coach Turner and I always talk about the similarities of the defensive footwork, the terminology, the screen game, right? pushing up court, pushing up field. So that's exactly what I would tell you is speed is number one. And as you know, in lacrosse, they hold the stick. The goalies are the ones standing in there with that quickness and the sort of, did you say kinetics in terms of the thinking and the body movements?
Yeah.
Reaction speed.
Absolutely.
It makes sense.
Coach O'Neill's getting fired up. Danyel Surrency-Jones, you were getting this guy fired up.
Isn't that what we're supposed to do? I
Yes.
mean, if we're not passionate and fired up about life, then we can't inspire the next person. So thank you. You guys are getting me fired up because I literally slept for 2 hours last night. And I was like, oh my gosh, my morning has started. And how am I going to do this? And you guys are awesome. So thank you. I mean, this is what life is about. I appreciate you having grace this morning and inspiring me. And I'm so fired up about lacrosse now. This is, nothing happens by happenstance.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So there's a couple of things we're going to connect, or we're going to wrap up in just a bit. We're going to connect you too, Casey. I'll certainly connect you through email with Danielle, and maybe there's a conversation to be had beyond here today. Danielle, I have a question here, but I'm not going to ask you this question. I'll tell you why. Because I don't want to know about the cut and dry and crossing T's and dotting I's. Besides POWERHANDZ, what inspires you? You have a family. What inspires you? Who is Danyel Surrency-Jones?
Wow. Danyel Surrency-Jones, and you may have seen this, I'm a vision chaser, right? I am a firm believer that, everyone has been born into this world to chase a vision that has already been laid out for us, right? And that could be multiple visions. When I talk about a vision, that's multiple. And that's one of the things, and DJ Krissy, you probably know what I'm talking about. For women, we think there's one path. We have to choose one thing. No, we are so multidimensional. So as I'm a vision chaser, I realize I'm multidimensional in being a vision chaser. So I can be a vision chaser as a wife. I want to be the best wife that I can. I'm also realistic that I am going to go through seasons, right? Where I may suck as a wife and I am the best mom that I can absolutely be. And thank goodness I have a partner that has grace, right? In between that season. I also am a vision chaser where I absolutely want to be the best builder, right? And when I say builder, that means building businesses. That means building people from a leadership perspective and inspiring them. So I want to be the best builder. From a vision perspective, I love community. I mean, we got a nod for Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year, and they played my clip at the end of the video where they asked me, what would you be doing if you weren't doing POWERHANDZ? And I said, I would be traveling around the world serving, right? I love community. So that's why we started our Power to Give Foundation day one when we didn't have money to make it official 501c3. We knew it was important to do good in the community. That's where my heart has been from my parents from Jacksonville, Florida up until now, right? So that all of those things comprise who Danielle is. And you can imagine, right? That's a lot of pressure, right? For anyone, because when you're an overachiever, we all understand we're results oriented, and then you get all these other dynamics of the world, right? That prevent you from possibly moving as fast as you think you should move. And we've seen, oh my gosh, the pressures of mental health from so many other aspects, that have occurred over the last 24 months. My message in all of that regarding who I am is truly being so centered to understand that I want to be harmonious with my seasons and to acknowledge the fact that I am going to ebb and flow in those seasons and be great sometimes, be mediocre, but as long as I'm harmonious and I am striving to achieve something that is greater than myself, I should be okay with my actions and my movement and what I'm doing. That's who Danielle is.
Well, there's nothing to add to that. There's nothing to add to that. She said it. She had her drop mic moment. Now it's time to have fun, Danielle. And I'm going to throw I'm going to throw a curveball at you. We have here,
Throw it.
we want to have fun with our guests. We have something here called the starting five. This is where I ask the coaches 5 questions, and they each have 30 seconds to answer each question. Now, for our guests, I only ask one question. Of course, you too will get 30 seconds to answer this one question. If you do not answer in 30 seconds, DJ Krissy, tell her what will happen.
Oh,
So you're going to get a ding. Look, now I'm going to tell you, we are 3 seasons in. In season 4, we will reach episode 100. So we're several episodes in, and no one has ever gotten the ding, Danielle. I'm just going to tell you right now. So you don't want to be the first. So here is your one
pressure.
question. We're counting on you. Your question is, we are all headed to karaoke night. Tell us the song that Danyel Surrency-Jones chooses to win the crowd over. What is your song?
Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive.
That's
Ooh.
it. There it is. I mean, she took no time.
That
She
might
took
be a,
no
that might
time.
be a record.
Right? How fast she answered.
I'm a horrible singer. I'm a shower singer who thinks I know how to sing.
You know,
I'm with you there.
DJ Krissy runs the longest running karaoke show in the DMV, the Washington, D.C. area. And Krissy, where does I Will Survive rank in terms of popularity for karaoke songs?
Oh, it's definitely top 10.
Everyone wants that song, right? They want that. They want Adele. They want Celine Dion. These are always popular songs, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, you heard it right here.
But that was the first that came to mind.
All right, I Will Survive will be her song. Danielle, we thank you for taking the TO with us today. But before we finish, please tell our audience how they can connect with you, POWERHANDZ, and your brand. Please tell the world how they can connect with you.
Thank you. You can reach me on every social network from Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn at Danyel Surrency, Surrency Jones. And POWERHANDZ is POWERHANDZ with a Z on every single network as well. And thank you so much in advance for your support.
You know, we love POWERHANDZ. I think Coach Turner, who was unable to be here, he had a tough game last night in the WCAC. I think he knows some folks up in the Baltimore area who use your products. We are fans, and I will tell you, it's not lost on me either. I saw a 10% off coupon code on the website, so I'm just saying I could put my name in and get on the email list for the 10% off, Danielle.
I might be able to get you 2 more %, Kurt. So let's work something out.
It's you know what? It's who you know. It's just right here in this episode, I earned 2% off. Danielle, that's right. Danielle, you're gonna make me cry on this podcast. That's what you're gonna do. 2%. She didn't offer it to you, Casey. She offered it to me. So
Well, we're gonna
maybe
connect
Casey's
later on,
getting
Curtis.
5.
I'll beat it. I got it.
right.
Yeah, we got a whole market to chase.
Right. I will connect you too, ladies and gentlemen. Taking a TO with us today, POWERHANDZ co-founder and CEO Danyel Surrency-Jones. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you.
Thank you,
All right,
Danielle.
we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
We are back with Ticket to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Thanks for listening and watching as we enjoy meeting you here each week. This segment's partners, Marquise Evans and Keller Williams Capital Properties. Coach O'Neill, looks like you just found yourself a new professional friend in the lacrosse space. Danyel Surrency-Jones, awesome interview. She's clearly more than about the bottom line and dollars and cents. She wants to inspire people. She wants to lead communities. She wants her products to not be just something she puts on shelves and sells. She wants to help the athletic community and the aging popularity, or the population, excuse me. There's more to POWERHANDZ than just selling gloves, huh?
Absolutely. And I'll start with this. If you were to ask me a starting 5 question that I had to go into a boardroom, right, with 2 people, 3 people, okay, in the world that are in your corner that are going to present on whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Danielle is my first answer. I'm walking in with that strong, confident, smart, awesome, powerful. I mean, I can't even enough words to go in there and to be on that team. I mean, that's somebody you want to not only model as a young lady, right, in terms of her drive, in terms of her balance in her life with her, talked about being a great wife, a mother, an entrepreneur, and studying, whatever it is. That is somebody you want to be connected with. And she mentioned that too, those connections, those relationships, right? And working with people. There are so many incredible just nuggets inside of that interview and talking to her that young people can take, young ladies, men, whoever it is.
Are you suggesting? Are you suggesting if you go in the boardroom with her, you might come out with a W? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. We are coming out with the dub, right?
Right.
With the dub. But incredible product. And here's the thing: there are young entrepreneurs, and there's people that are trying to put together programs or systems. Look, we've all watched Shark Tank. Okay, Shark Tank, the show where we come in. I mean, that's why there's such a small percentage of the people that make it. Right? She is that driven. It is that committed. Her vision, her principles, her mission, her marketing, boots on the ground, getting out there, sales, whatever it is, those are the people that are going to get it done. Exactly right there. So it's such a good lesson for the kids about that commitment and that drive and those relationships. And it's such a even greater message too for the young ladies in our society who are just, you got this, right? You keep grinding, getting after it.
My friend Jason Hecker, he's a creative director out there in the Midwest, and he mentioned after he met with her, I think they were at some sort of convention with Amazon where her products were going to be launched in that space. And he told me we had to get her on here, and I think he was right. I think she is driven. I think she's empowering. I think she is fired up. I think she's an excellent role model and example. And I think what she has done here is she's creating a roadmap so that someone who may want to do what she's doing, she's creating a roadmap there. Nuggets, oh my God. She didn't give us nuggets. She gave us big iceberg chunks of information.
101 purpose. 101 purpose. That's
right. So I love everything about what she did. I'm happy that it sounds like you two can connect on the lacrosse front. It's a space she wants to be in, and it's a space where you're well versed. So I think there's a relationship to be had there. So thank you to Danyel Surrency-Jones of POWERHANDZ. Make sure you follow them wherever you get your social media content. They are at POWERHANDZ, POWERHANDZ. It'll be worth the follow. And what she said in that interview is all across the website, where she's faith-based. All of her core values are right there. She doesn't talk the talk. She is walking the walk. We're coming right back with our weekly sports wrap-up. Welcome back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. This segment's partner is Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. While this podcast will air after the Super Bowl, let's talk NFL, and I want to get your Super Bowl predictions. Coach O'Neill, Tom Brady retires. Give me your thoughts.
No mystery. I've been a fan of Tom Brady's ever since. I've said this on the podcast before, since he was back at Michigan. Partly because my sister went to Michigan and I root for the blue. Actually, I have a niece. Shout out to Ellie Richard, to the Richard family, Amy O'Neill Richard. They support us. Just was accepted last week to the University of Michigan. All right. So when they're listening, Ellie, we love you. We're so proud of you. That was her dream school. She got in. But Tom Brady.
And you sent some of your players to Michigan, right?
We have. Yeah. We have right now, I think there's 2 on the roster, but there's been a few others. One being a young man, Avery Myers, was a captain last year in his 5th year. So shout out to the Big Blue up there in Ann Arbor, Michigan. But Tom Brady, I've just been a fan. I've been a fan, and people, again, there's so much negativity towards somebody who wins and wins and wins. But isn't that what we're trying to do as coaches? Aren't we trying to win? Aren't we trying to win games? Right. And so when we do that and you sustain that, Coach Turner's trying to win, I'm trying to win. Okay. How can you not appreciate the fact that somebody has done it at that level greater than anyone else in the history of time? 7 Super Bowls, 6 with the Pats, 1 with the Bucks. I think he was in the Super Bowl 2 other times or 3 other times. Something like,
I think 3 other times.
3 other times. That's right. I think you're right. So shout out to him. I have this weird feeling though that, I mean, is he going to come back? Like, is he going to come with is there somewhere
else? A Jordan thing?
Right. Who knows? But football is obviously, the wear and tear on the body, and I do kind of like the way he did it. There was no big fanfare. There was no nothing, no tour, a whole season of a tour. Like every stop he goes before the game, the other team's giving him a jersey. None of that fanfare, right? Just do it. Big fan. I know that ruffles people's feathers, but I don't care. I think he did it the right way. And, what a career. I mean, we can't say enough.
I've got a stat here that was sent to us by Mr. Sean William Parker, who is the voice of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tom Brady led his team to a conference title in 14 of his 21 healthy seasons. That's 66.7% of the time. Brady's career completion percentage was 64.2. He literally was more likely to lead his team to a conference title game than to complete a pass. How about that for a stat?
That's incredible.
I'm neither here nor there on Tom Brady. You know, a part of me is scorned because they won so much, and our beloved Redskins at times, when we played in the season, were on the wrong end of the wake that he left. Tom Brady had a great career. Tom Brady, towards the end of his career, he got more involved with social media, and his social media posts were fun to watch. They're really fun to watch. Him and Gronk playing "We Ain't Going Nowhere" in the background because they're always seeming to be in a conference title game. Great career. Greatest of all time, I think you would find most people saying yes. At that quarterback position, greatest of all time. Next topic. Another great quarterback. I'm not a big fan of his, but Big Ben retires. Your thoughts?
So I think this one is done. I think he's done for sure.
No comeback.
Yeah, there's no conspiracy in this one. I think he's done. And real quick, if I could allude back to Tom Brady, I think there's lessons for the kids with somebody like that, because I mentioned he went to Michigan, and he was a 6th-round draft pick, and he was overlooked. But then he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Yeah, he's 6'4" and he's got nice spiral on the ball, nice touch, but he doesn't jump out of the field as like this crazy athlete.
Right.
He just kept working and in the mental game, right? And just doing the things he needed to do. So that is just a great point for the young people out there that aren't Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson or the Steve Youngs that could just create this stuff with their feet. Like you can be successful, right? Just putting in that work. To Big Ben, look, yeah, he's got a little bit of ish in his background in terms of his career, especially at the beginning. I think he was at times, or learned to be a good leader. Pittsburgh seems to just have people that stay there throughout their career. I think they've only had 4 or 5 head coaches in the history of the program. You think of like the history of the steel black curtain, and Big Ben kind of embodied a lot of what that town is, right? That steel town of just kind of this big, tough quarterback, and he made it happen. Unfortunately for him, he was in the same conference for many years with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and you know what? He's got nothing to hang his hat on. He had an incredible career.
Absolutely. Question for you. The 49ers, Big Ben, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady, what do they all have in common?
49ers, Big Ben, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Wow, that's a good one. I think does it have to do with the coach or something? What do you got?
Doesn't have to do with the coach. I'll tell you. The last 18 Super Bowls have either had the 49ers, Big Ben, Peyton Manning, or Tom Brady. That will be broken this year because the 49ers did not keep up their end of the bargain. But for 18 years, and Steve, of course, is a fan of changing of the guard, so we will have something we've never had in the last 18 Super Bowls. Either the 49ers, Big Ben, Peyton Manning, or Tom Brady have all been in some form or fashion in the last 18 Super Bowls. One stat that you don't have on your script that I do want to talk about, the Cincinnati Bengals have linebacker Keandre Jones from Albany, Maryland, lineman Isaiah Prince from Greenbelt, Maryland, tackle Zach Kerr from Gaithersburg, Maryland, and the Rams have running back Jake Funk from Gaithersburg, Maryland, and lineman Rob Haverstein from Mount Airy, Maryland. 5 Marylanders and 3 Montgomery County kids are going to be in the Super Bowl. Your Super Bowl prediction, sir?
Ooh, baby.
I'm gonna go first, actually.
Okay.
I'm riding with Burrow, baby. I'm riding with Burrow. And we have some lost footage that I will give at some time where Joey T said that Cincinnati would be in the Super Bowl. I have that from weeks ago. I haven't aired it yet. But I'm riding with Burrow. I think he's unconscious, doesn't realize he's not even supposed to be here right now.
Right.
So I'm going with the Bengals, but I will say Stafford in Detroit, now a Ram, you put something around him, he's in the game that he was hoping a year ago he would be in when this trade happened. And he was on a beach, I think, in Cabo or somewhere when he found out he got traded. Your prediction for the Super Bowl? I'm going Bengals.
Well, I think the same could be said for a lot of quarterbacks that have taken their teams to the Super Bowl, right? They either have an incredible defense, kind of like the Buccaneers in the early 2000s, or the Ravens, right? The defenses are just too good. Tom Brady, right? All those years, he had to have that around him, obviously, clearly a leader. I like where you're thinking with this Joe Burrow part, but something about the Rams just being too deep and playing back-to-back in their own stadium.
How does that happen 2 years in a row, right?
Unbelievable. And to further, they got to play the conference championship in their own stadium. So
right.
I'm going to go with the Rams, although I'm kind of pulling for the Bengals. Growing up, a tiger is my favorite animal. So any college that had tigers, Clemson Tigers, LSU Tigers, the Auburn Tigers, right, the Cincinnati Bengals, I just call them my second team. But I think that the Rams are going to pull it out.
And you know what? You can't help but root for Sean McVay. Sean McVay is probably younger than you and I, and he's got more energy than any coach out there. I mean, he's running into that tunnel with the players as if he's ready to put on a jersey. So you're going Rams, I'm going Bengals. Let's put $1 on it. Let's get to a topic that, just came up yesterday. Brian Flores got some texts. And Brian Flores feels like he didn't get a fair shake when it came to his interview, and by all accounts, he didn't. No black coaches have been hired in this offseason. There were a half dozen, perhaps, vacancies. 70% of the league is black, yet there's only one black head coach. That's Mike Tomlin, who, by the way, in all of his seasons, has never had a losing season. It's like 14, 15 years or whatever. What do you think about the text he got from Belichick congratulating him, the wrong text, on getting the job 2 days before he even got a fair shake at the interview?
All this to me is there's so much fishiness to it, right? It's weird. It's just so weird because I'm looking at those texts and actually reading them this morning, and it just doesn't seem like a text that like Coach Belichick or Brian Flores would even be exchanging with each other. Anyway, besides the point, I think the real issue is what you mentioned: one black head coach, right? 70% of the rosters are black players. Right. I do think you look on a sideline, right? Or you go to the website and you look at the coaching staff of all the NFL teams, and it's probably pretty even 50-50, at least black and white coaches on there. So to me, it's awkward. It's something that does need to be addressed. I don't know all the behind the scenes, if factual or not. Well, time will tell with what happened with Coach Flores and with the Giants. I feel like the Giants were really quick to make that decision. And if it is true, right, that his interview was coming up on Thursday and they were making the decision on the day before, it's messed up for sure. But I look around and I see, look, Byron Leftwich, right down there in Tampa, is obviously a great candidate that you can think of. Bieniemy with the Kansas City Chiefs and guys like that, and over and go through it. These are great guys. But I will say Leftwich, I believe, was offered the job or heard for Jacksonville. And he's like, why would I go in there with this crazy ownership? So again, I know I'm just kind of rambling on here, but I think there's a lot of qualified head coaches out there. Let's get to the bottom of this.
All right. And let's go to our NBA All-Star selections. We can make no bones about the fact that KD, Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Trae Young, and DeMar DeRozan are on the East side. On the West side, you have LeBron, you have Jokic, you have Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, and Ja Morant. I am so happy to see Ja Morant as a Western Conference All-Star starter, but I got to scratch my head on this Andrew Wiggins thing. Andrew Wiggins?
I agree. And so you being the resident NBA expert and Coach Turner knowing much more than I do on the NBA, still love the NBA. As I'm looking at this list, I kind of agree with you. I think this is right. It's not like the NFL Pro Bowl, right? Where you're like, really? That guy's in the Pro Bowl? Right. All pro to me, first team All NBA, that's where you kind of get it right. NBA All-Star, it looks pretty good. I couldn't tell you enough that Andrew Wiggins with Golden State, but that has to do with the success, I think, of the team. When the team is as well as they are, you're going to get more of those guys in. Who would you replace him with?
Chris Paul and Devin Booker are on the number one team in the West, and they have no NBA All-Star starters. That's where I'll go.
No, that's a good call for sure. So, look.
Hell, replace all five of those with all five Lakers. Just go all five Lakers.
Yeah.
You could put James Worthy in there before Andrew Wiggins. I don't know. I love Andrew Wiggins. I'm glad that he got out of Minnesota and he's really getting a chance to shine. However, when I see the number one team in the West, the Phoenix Suns, who I'm not even a fan of, but I see them and they don't have anyone as an all-star starter. That's where I think I take a little bit of an exception. I'm going to watch either way, just like with the Commanders. I'm not going to let it get under my skin. I'm going to watch either way. Last but not least, in our sports wrap-up, Caleb Williams. Talk about it.
You're reading my mind. People, we went out to get a bite to eat after Chloe's basketball game the other night at the corner pub, right? You know the corner pub very well.
Yes.
And which Chloe's team won at the buzzer, which was great.
Good.
A lot of fun. And just happy to have her in the girls in the gym playing basketball. Anyway, some of my buddies were sitting there and kind of hanging out and talking about, well, is he going to Wisconsin? Is he going to come to Maryland? Is he going to go to, LSU? Is he going to go stay at Oklahoma? And I mean, as soon as he made that decision, and then you saw him, go to the I forget the name of the bowl game when they beat Oregon and did a great job for Oklahoma. And he was out on the West Coast. I mean, he was immediately there, and something kind of resonated to me. I'm not texting him or bugging him. It's his own life, his own decision. He is branding himself as the athlete and the human that he is, I think in a fun and exciting new way. I mean, man, for the Trojans, that's big. The Pac-12 has needed some splash. The Trojans have needed that, and it's pretty exciting, man. It's pretty exciting.
Well, I don't think it's
and it's a whole other topic too, Kurtis and Krissy, on how Steve feels about the transfers. But obviously, Caleb is a talent. He is obviously in a year or two somebody that we think can go to the NFL. And if this is the decision that he needs to make, right, to continue his education and then go play, or what he feels best, then leave these kids alone. Leave those kids alone when it comes to that. It's the adults who make who drive those decisions that I think drives me nuts.
Well, and here's the thing. I think he's doing what we would want to see an athlete do. He got recruited in Oklahoma by Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley's in USC. He loves playing for that guy.
Yep.
So let's go to our last break, and we'll be back with the final word.
This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by
Ray P. Cruz, Mortgages Intelligently. We are back. It's time to wrap up this episode with some thanks and, of course, our final word. We invite you to become a friend of the program. To do so, go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Become a Friend. Become a sponsor, a donor, a partner by visiting turnerandoneal.com and clicking Media Kit. Advertising with Turner and O'Neill will put your brand in front of thousands of listeners and viewers each week. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by simply going to turnerandoneal.com and clicking the social media icons. Before we sign off, thanks to our listeners and viewers. This podcast is fueled by you, and we appreciate your support. Thanks to Coach DJ Krissy, our engineer, who makes us sound and look good each week. Krissy, your final thoughts.
Great guest today.
Right?
Didn't know what to expect going into it, but she was awesome. Very quick on her answer with her song.
Yes.
Especially, she said that she's a shower singer.
Right. But she's going to get out there. She's going to belt out I Will Survive. I can tell you that.
I'm ready to get her on the microphone. Let's go.
Yes.
I'm excited for season 4. Okay. And really want to see where we're going to go.
All right.
And thank you guys for joining us as always.
Well, Coach O'Neill, I have to task you and Coach Turner. We had Danyel Surrency-Jones. We got a bar to hold up to now.
Yep.
We got a bar to uphold right now. My thoughts, excellent episode. Thanks to Jason Hecker for putting me in touch with Danyel Surrency-Jones. Thanks to the fine folks, Stacy included. Stacy, I believe, supports just about everything that goes on at POWERHANDZ, and she's the one we've emailed with back and forth to get this interview to happen. We were supposed to have it in December, and a couple of things happened. We have her here now, and we love that we had her. So thank you, Stacy, for being a part of getting Danyel Surrency-Jones on our podcast. Thank you to Danyel Surrency-Jones. She was an awesome guest. I hope she's inspired some folks. She's inspired me. She's given me some things to think about. I've been in business for 30 plus years. I hope that my mind remains open so I can continue to learn from folks like her. I think she represents a community of women, a community of Black women whose voices have not been heard quite loudly enough. And I think she's speaking very well from the platform from which she sits and stands. Coach O'Neill, I'm going to turn it over to you. This is your quote. You close out the show.
Got it. Coach Turner, first and foremost, good luck in the rest of this season. I know this is the spot. It's down to those final 3. That's what we're building towards, all scrimmages leading up, but it's good to have him on the starting 5. Incredible guest. It just shows the power of connections, the power of our podcast and our team as we grow and grow and grow. So great episode. And thank you to both of you as always. My quote, love that Danielle was talking about faith-based. My quote before we even went into that is from Luke chapter 6. And here it is. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For the measure you give will be the measure you get back.
DJ Krissy, pull the plug.